Okay, the bird wanted to take a break off this round, said he's working on something big, so you got me. Pleasure to meet you. Name's Aldous, wandering blacksmith and sales drake of custom gear. I've been told that you want to learn some better ways to make gear, that the official rules weren't too exciting. Good thing you have me. Welcome to episode 5 of Table Technician. This guide is broken into 2 parts, crafting weapons and crafting armor. Now, first things first, this new method bears a striking resemblance to Kane's poison crafting kit. Do not be alarmed, he just appreciates modularity, as does any self-respecting artisan. We're going to break up crafting gear into different pillars, each with prices and requirements. Classic. Let's begin with crafting armor. Armor itself needs to begin with a material. Leather, steel, scale, doesn't matter, you'll need it. Each material grants a base AC. It also imposes detriments in exchange for a higher AC. Sure, that steel plate may make you impervious to most bladed attacks, but you take a reduction to dexterity checks while wearing it.
Now, hear me out, and this is Kane talking now. I've always liked the idea of armor providing a damage mitigation factor depending on quality. So when my patrons voted for this topic, I figured it a great place to test that mechanic. Aldous?
Right, so each material comes in 3 tiers, standard, tempered, and prime. Standard comes to the base cost, with no damage reductions. Tempered comes to twice the base cost, and prime comes to 3 times the base cost. Each material has a different damage reduction table, the maximum for any armor being 5 points of reduction. Tempered leather may offer no points of damage reduction, but tempered steel may offer 1. You get the idea. In the manual, you'll also find variant rules for upgrading the damage reduction to keep it in line with your level. Doubt a reduction of 3 would much help against a swing from a storm giant. Story-wise, the reason these armors give damage reduction and the default armors don't is because they're custom made. Simply put, they're better and provide better protection effects. I tried to keep the damage reduction table fair and balanced for the cost. Again, you can change it if you see the need to. Next, you can go ahead and add in a piece that furthers the ability of your armor. Most pieces are dependent on what material you use, so keep that in mind. For example, if you're making leather armor, you can add studding, which gives you a 1-point damage reduction from all slashing damage. Conversely, bulwark iron can be magically enchanted to reflect a small portion of magical damage back at the attacker, for a hefty price, of course. This enchantment cannot be applied to other materials, giving bulwark iron a small advantage over other base materials at the cost of a lower AC. These are all just glimpses into the mechanics of armor smithing. Like the poison rules from episode 3, you can find more in-depth instructions in the upcoming companion manual. In the meantime, let's move on to smithing weapons. Okay, so, similar to armor, you're going to want to start with a base material, after you pick a weapon blueprint, of course. For this guide, we're going to be covering the smithing of melee weapons, as that's what I'm best at. Each material comes with an associated tree. The base level grants no bonuses, but for a higher payment for a higher quality version of the material, bonuses begin to be tacked on. Take iron, for example, a classic. Its base level is good for any beginner weapon, but its second level, scale iron, grants the bleed property, dealing a persistent 1 damage to the target over an amount of time. Its third level, a rarer form of iron and vastly expensive, dragon metal, grants greater bleed damage over a longer duration and a higher crit range. Next, you forge in a piece or adjustment that adds a specific bonus to the item. Some of these adjustments are tailored specifically to the blueprint. For example, a textured leather grip can be wrapped around the handle of a weapon to give disadvantage to those attempting to disarm the wielder. Or, for weapons that deal bludgeoning damage, studding bolts forged into the business end can give an attack bonus to non-lethal strikes. Naturally, this is where things get really fun. These are all balanced to lightly benefit certain playstyles and not outshine magic items, as they're not nearly as expensive as magic items and should be available at any blacksmith. Well, that's the long and short of it. I'll have to get on.
And gone like that. Okay, thanks Aldous. That's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed. I wanted to stay in the spirit of keeping these new mechanics lightweight so anyone can pick them up. Play around with them. Let me know what you think. This obviously won't gel with everyone, but I hope it gives those who don't want it some ideas. Special thanks to my patrons. You're all keeping me afloat, and I can't thank you enough. Those who aren't pledged, consider it. You get access to whips, colored sketches, polls for video topics like this, and much more now and in the future. It's only $2 a month. Anywho, I'll see you all next time.